Welcome in. Today we're going to talk all about DrumCorps snare breaks, and I've got an hypothesis, and that is that they're getting more and more and more dull, more boring for the average watcher. Now, we need to clarify first of all. I am a DrumCorps geek, right? I marched Blue Devils, I marched cadets, I taught at Bluecoats. I'm 48 years old and I'm still learning snare breaks that people are playing right now. If you come watching my videos and you learn those snare breaks, when you see something online and someone plays something different that you've never seen before, you've got that need to try and learn it, you're a drumming geek. Now for you guys, and for me, some of these snare breaks are fun to watch. I'm talking about the average punter, the general public. So when you go to a gig and you bring your friend for the first time ever and he comes to that DrumCorps gig and he watches those DrumCorps, what does he or she think is cool? Now I guarantee it's not the septuplets, the quintuplets, or some crazy intricate flam pattern. There's going to be other things. So I'm thinking, first of all, what are the things for the last 20, 30 years that stick out in my mind as things that stood out, that things are probably cool? So I go back. The first thing I remember seeing, a snare line, a drum line, playing at Celeranda, real simple, real slow, and getting faster. And you just see those hands going and those blurs, and there's something about that simple idea. Blue Devils have done it. Vanguard have done it. We've seen it with paradiddles. Getting faster and faster, and there's something about going slow to fast that any non-drummer can still get and still think is cool. The first time you see a drumline playing high sticking and we get all this kind of crazy stuff, cool. The first time we see Cavaliers and they suddenly put the sticks this way and they're doing the claw, very cool. So a lot of these things are visual things. I think things that even a non-drummer can straight away see, man, I couldn't do that, that looks cool. And those are the things that I think are being missed more and more and more in DCI drum breaks. I worry that what's eventually going to happen is we're going to be playing things like groupings of 7 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm playing the first 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm just playing, we're going to have snare breaks that go. And that's going to give us the highest scores. But what we really want to see, or what we remember seeing the most, Blue Devils playing a snare break. I've no idea even what it is, but they did the moonwalk. That's all I remember, is that cool moonwalk, those motions that they've done. Boston, stick on stick. The first time you ever see someone play in, Vanguard did it, didn't they? Back in like 93 or something like that. And then suddenly Boston put it out, or Carolina, whoever did all that crazy stuff. The first time you see Top Secret, I mean, how many of you have been sent a video from one of your aunties or uncles thinking that you're going to love it and it's the Top Secret drumline and they're just playing like drum to drum? Right? Someone thinks that's cool because I've been sent that like 30 times at least in my life. Madison took it to a whole new level, like back in the 90s. They all leant forward, they're playing each other's drums, they got the cymbal players behind them. Suddenly they start moving their sticks and hitting the cymbals. That was cool. Sword fight, Madison, when they had that rack of cymbals and they're playing the rack and they're marching around the field and there's some 2 guys on the top having a sword fight, right? These are memorable moments. This is the stuff that I believe is needed more and more now. If we're going to get people wanting to watch drumlines and DrumCorps and not get disillusioned by the fact it's just getting so technical they can't get it, these things need bringing back. Some of the things are just visual. If we think about 93 again, the Vanguard year where they played this, they did the whole slow motion thing. And then Blue Devils did it where the whole corps marched, like it looked like they were in slow motion while the drumline's doing double time, playing parts across the front. Even simple things. The first time I ever saw a drumline of like 8 or 9 snares doing this, and everyone does a rim shot, but it goes down the line. They're like things that just stick in your memory. I don't know what it was. That was like 89 or something like that, right? Years ago. I don't remember anything they played, but I certainly remember the. So these are the things that I want to see some more of this stuff. When I'm teaching you guys snare breaks, it takes me sometimes days, sometimes weeks to figure out the snare breaks. And it's not the speed of the drumming often. It's not that. It is the dullest stuff. It's like taking 5 lurts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and taking out a note in the middle and trying to squash a 4 in there and a 3. It's cool if you're a geek like us. It ain't cool for the general public. And I think this activity needs to start appealing to some of those people again. Gimics, Cavaliers, did they do it with the tenor players or snare players? Hanging upside down playing. Did Pulse do that as well? Some indoor line did it with the hanging off bars upside down. These are just simple things. We're not always talking about the hardest, craziest stuff. When Blue Devils had like 25 snares or whatever it was, 16 snares, Cadets did it back in the day, having all these tenor players. Sometimes the simplest ideas are actually the most effective ideas. Now, DrumCorps is slowly being judged more and more on general effect, so I don't see any reason why drumlines and DrumCorps are not doing more of this stuff. But I feel like we're getting pulled the other way. Are we? Are we getting pulled more into the playing the septuplets, the playing the quintuplets, the playing the things across the bar lines and four with a hand and crazy stuff like that? Or am I wrong? Maybe we're already playing cool stuff. Now, what I'm intrigued to know in the comments below this is, what do you remember? What are things, if you think over the past 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, what do you remember that you think, man, that was cool? I remember that. Straight away in my head then I just suddenly thought Crossman, that year when they're all that kind of stuff. I think I've done a video on some of that stuff. That sticks out as a year where there was some crazy stuff. I've taught you guys on this channel some breaks where I've then looked through my my stats, and I've looked at a video. I've like, I don't remember learning that, and I watched myself playing it, and I don't even remember the parts because it just didn't connect at all. There was nothing cool in it. There wasn't enough cool stuff going on. Now these days, it doesn't even also have to be the notes. We've got things like, what was the year Blue Coats play that rim shot, and they suddenly put the reverb, gah, and there's this massive reverb. These days, people can play with all sorts of audio effects. That's cool. Cadets back in the day singing. That sticks out. Now for me, the all-time one that sticks out, probably because I was a tenor player back when I marched, was the cadets at the front when they're playing on each other's tenors and they're walking up the line and then they turn around and play. Man, bring some of that stuff back, guys. Please bring some of that stuff back. Now here in the UK, we have DrumCorps over here in the UK, right? As I said, I march DCI, so I'm always looking at DCI, but we have got DrumCorps in here. It has gone from an activity with this many bands to this many, to this many, to this many. Last year, 3 bands. This year, defunct. There is no more DrumCorps in the UK. They're trying to make a new activity indoors. Now, I look at DCI, right? And I look at you, and you are 1,000 times better, bigger than the UK. But I still see these same things happening. People getting slightly smaller. And I worry that if we don't connect some of these drum lines and these WGI shows with the general public, not the geeks like us, but the general public, you could end up having the same problem we have in the UK. So let me know, what do you think is cool? Am I wrong? Maybe the cool stuff is actually the notes. Maybe I'm an old guy who needs to get up to the times and learn some of this new stuff. But am I right? Am I wrong? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, maybe we'll do a few more little bit like this.